Hello daily drafters and welcome back to the channel for today's daily draft. Full transparency for you all, I've got a new setup. I've got a new desktop computer, I've got a better webcam, I've got better audio. Well, the audio is the same, but hopefully it works better with this new setup. But what that means for you is hopefully nothing. Hopefully your experience doesn't change. However, you might have to bear with me for at least a couple of weeks here. This is the first video I'm recording on this new setup. I've tested as much as I can. I hope things go well. I genuinely don't know if they will. I've got new recording software, the whole 9 yards. So bear with me today if audio levels are strange or if edits are strange. Everything's going to be changing, but it's got to get a little bit worse before it gets better, ideally. Hopefully for you, that means nothing changes. But just wanted to be completely transparent with you all about what's going on here and why I mean, the camera might be wider. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? But glad to have you all with me today. And we are starting with Gixie Puppeteer, a card I have not yet drafted in the format and am very excited to do so here. 4 mana, 4/3. Draw your second card, drain him for 2. When it dies, get to return another creature from the battlefield, from the graveyard to the battlefield. So, the best card in this next pack is quite clearly Junkyard Genius. Now, we don't have to be blue-black for this. It's kind of like a blue-black gold card, a little bit, but Junkyard Genius is better enough than Moment of Defiance that I'm just going to take the best card in this pack. And we could be red-black draw 2 as well. So, we could even be red-black draw 2 splashing a couple of blue cards off of things like, well, I mean, or even splashing the Junkyard Genius off of things like Evolving Wilds. Soul Guide Lantern is also quite nice. Allows us to draw a second card. Urza lets us do it every single turn, which is nuts with Gixie and Puppeteer. So this combo itself might just be a reason to do this. I really do like Evolving Wilds. We're not tied so much to the Genius. I think Puppeteer is busted, and I'd like to play it as much as I can and maximize its efficiency. So I think I'm going to take Urza over Soul Guide Lantern because this is also just a creature that affects the board. Now, I've mentioned in the past couple of days, weeks, that I don't like Energy Refractor as much. With this start, this has to be good, right? If there's a deck where this isn't good, or if there's a deck where this is good, it's red-black, but even more like a Grixis Draw 2 Gixie and Puppeteer kind of deck, right? I'm going to default today with Disfigure. If this Disfigure were not in this pack, I would take Refractor. So no one left behind as well, which could be pretty good with like reanimating Puppeteer if they kill it. Swift Boots could wheel to protect that. So I'm going to take the Disfigure over the first copy of Energy Refractor. Hopefully we can get one at some point. Alright, I do like a Battlefield Butcher here. This is pretty nice. 3 mana, 1/4, can drain your opponent, not drain, but ping your opponent for 2. Moment of Defiance is also quite good with Puppeteer. Combat Courier is also quite good with Puppeteer. I think this card is better than these two right now. We could probably get these a little bit later. I would not mind a Combat Courier in this deck, more than likely. But I'm going to take the Battlefield Butcher, and I think I'm going to take the Emergency Weld here to go with the Puppeteer in case this dies. Seems pretty good to me. Yeah, it's good with Genius as well if we find a way to splash that. But let's go ahead and take the Emergency Weld here. Lots of goodies here. We've got Chromatic Star, we've got Power Stone Fracture, and Evolving Wilds. I'm going to take the Chromatic Star. Again, it can be a one-off way to splash the Genius. It's also a way to draw a card for the Puppeteer. It's a decent little pitch to Urza if we don't need it. Can return it back with Emergency Weld. I mean, got a couple of tough picks here, but I've yet to play with Puppeteer, and I just want to make a Puppeteer deck. I mean, this card seems so good. Knowing me, I'll go 0-3 and never see it in any of the drafts like I did with the one time I drafted a mono green with Steel Seraph, but we won't talk about that. I think the best card here is Puppeteer. The second best is probably Genius. So still looking for ways to possibly splash that. But if we're talking about draw 2, Latinam Adept is probably where we want to go. But I don't think this card is really that great. There's a Skull Flare. It's like well with Butcher, I guess. I think I'm just going to take the Goring Warplow. 2 mana, 1/1 Death Touch. Probably most of the time is what this is. Seems good enough. I mean, we're highly incentivized to be black with this start, pretty much no matter what. So I think we'll take that here. I don't care about many of these cards. I guess I'll take the Onulet as like a one-off way to unearth it if we want to or something. Everything else here kind of sucks for us. I don't think Bonesaw is worth a card. Didn't see any Gurgling Anointers, which would be quite good. A couple of things here, but gotta make sure we pick up the early and cheap removal. And if we have a card like Butcher, ideally a higher creature count. So not too many copies of things like Chromatic Star. As good as I think it probably is in this deck, want to make sure our creature count is high enough for the Butcher to matter. Probably going to be on the lookout for Scrapwork Ragers here, because they are creatures that also cantrip to draw a card to trigger Puppeteer as well. So, not too bad there. Okay, we have Moment of Defiance and I just think Desynchronize is way too expensive in this format. Transmogrant Altar, I don't think that's us. This card's unplayable. I'll take the first copy of Moment of Defiance, although I'm not really looking to play it necessarily. There is a Gigamole, which has some self-mill, works well with Battlefield Butcher, works well with Emergency Weld, can get back our Puppeteer if we mill it. I think this might be a Gigamole deck. Ideally, I'm looking to be like 16 creatures with 2 Disfigures, one of the 5 mana instant removal spells in black, and maybe an Emergency Weld, maybe a Chromatic Star, is ideally what I'm trying to do here. Genius is really only castable off of Star right now. It's also a good pitch to Urza if we don't have a blue source. Third Path Savant is a way to draw 2 cards. And it's a cheap... I think I'll take... I never thought I'd be taking Third Path Savant over Koilos Rock. But, I mean, we don't have very many cheap drops, and Third Path Savant is one. Ooh, blue-black, let's go. Hercule Master Wizard, all right. Overwhelming Remorse was the card I was talking about. I'd love to get a copy or 2 of this, but this card is so good. The only problem is that it kind of goes against the fact that I want to be playing a bunch of creatures in this deck. But now the fact that I have Hercule, I don't necessarily have to do that. However, playing too much to the creatures, if I try to switch back and forth between like, oh, half my deck cares about creatures, half my deck cares about non-creatures, it's not going to be a great deck. So we kind of have to decide a little bit. Things like Gigamole care about creatures. What does this one do again? I don't think that's very good. Now, a good... Ooh, Energy Refractor. Ugh. A good way to... this is just my pet card in the format. Many of you have pointed out that I probably like it too much, and I agree with you. But look, I passed it up twice here. I think I'm going to take the Mightstone's animation. Goes well with Chromatic Star. Goes well with any sort of Power Stone that we might make. Works well with Hercule. It still counts as a creature while it's still a non-creature, which goes with Hercule. It draws a second card for Gixian Puppeteer. I mean, it kind of does everything we want to do here. So with this Mightstone's animation pickup, there's a Spotter Thopter as well, but I think I'm going to go with the animation. My idea for this deck right now is lean hard into the draw 2 and the non-creatures, which means things like Gigamole are probably not going to be in there. Battlefield Butcher won't be at its best, but might still be a decent enough card. Here's an Evangel of Synthesis. I think that's a pretty easy pick here. Scrapwork Cohort's a really nice card. Probably the best common in the set. Trench Stalker is another really, really good card, but when in doubt in this format, take the 2-drop. I would love for this to wheel, but I'm going to take Evangel. Butcher's probably not at its best, but probably still playable. I don't know if we'll have the mana for Genius, But everything else here is looking pretty good. Currently have 2 instants, 1 sorcery, 1 enchantment. Probably going to look to get that up. Would love to get, like I mentioned, at least 1 more disfigure and at least 1, what's it called? Overwhelming remorse. So here I think it's between Stern Lesson and Weakstone Subjugation. Stern Lesson is great with Puppeteer because it draws 2 on their turn. It's also great with Hercule because you can do it on your turn. It's great with, what's it called? Mightstone's Animation because it makes a Power Stone. I would probably play a Subjugation in this deck because we already have an animation and the trigger off of Hercule can find this one. But I'm going to take the Stern Lesson and probably not look to play more than 1, maybe 2 if we have to, depending on our synergies. But if you look at our curve, like, this is already a recipe for not having great success in this format. We kind of have like 2 2-drops if you count Disfigure as one of them. Curate is good for this deck. Moment of Defiance, that's the other card I mentioned. If we're going heavy on the non-creatures, Moment of Defiance gets worse because we don't have very many creatures to target with this. However, this is insanely good against aggro in this format. I'm going to take my first copy of Curate, and I might play 2 of these depending on where our creature count gets to. Combat Courier, great pickup for us here. This is exactly what we want. Evangelist Synthesis. So blue-black is open. I mean, there's another Courier, which I would love to play too. There's a Koilos Rock, which I wouldn't mind playing a copy of, but we'll take Evangelist Synthesis here. Energy Refractor did wheel, so I did mention if we can get another Mightstone's Animation, it's great with Puppeteer, it's great with Hercule, it's great with Evangel. I mean, we have the synergies for this card in this deck. I would love to get 1 more Mightstone's Animation at this point, but I'm going to take this Energy Refractor here. That's a late Opportunist and Confrontation. I wonder if green... No, blue-black is definitely open. I guess I'll take Gruesome Realization here. What are we sacrificing? We have Chromatic Star is a great thing to sacrifice with this. Energy Refractor is a great thing to sacrifice. We don't have one yet. I'm actually going to take the first Power Stone Fracture here. Painful Quandary, not for this format. I wish this was a Painful Quandary format, but it's not. So I'll take a second Goring Warple. I'll probably not play it. Not playing Corrupt. Not playing Intervention. So I think our deck is looking pretty good. We only have 10 creatures, but that's okay. Most of them work well with our synergies. The Butcher is not looking outstanding here, but I mean, if we're like a control-ish deck and we can pick up some, what's it called? Pick up some more removal spells in the last pack, then Battlefield Butcher could be good as just a way to stall out the board, good blocker, and then pump some mana into it late to keep pinging them down. Scatterray could be playable. Let's see what we got here. Got a second Emergency Weld. We have a Mask of the Jade Crafter, which we could play off of something like Star or Refractor. I don't think this is a Symmetry Matrix deck. No. There is an Elsewhere Flask, which is basically like another Energy Refractor in this deck. I don't think Latinum Adept is very good. There's a Clay Revenant, but we don't really have those synergies. I mean, it's good. Clay Revenant is good with Urza. I'm going to take the Flask here, but it wasn't a great pack for us. Mishra's Bauble, let's go. All right, that's great with Hercule. It's great with Puppeteer. It's outstanding with Animation. It's not outstanding, but it works with animation well enough. I mean, what are our other options here? Gruesome Realization, which is fine. Desynchronize, which I think is too expensive. I'll take the bauble here. Key to the City. I don't think that's good enough. There's a second Fracture. What are we sacrificing? So Elsewhere Flask made the Fracture better. There's a Refractor as well. There's a Power Stone here. There's potential Power Stones here. Carrion Locust. I don't think I want two Curates. I'm looking at Carrion Locust here. I think I'll take the second Fracture. I don't think this is for this format either. This might be a Scrapwork cohort deck. Again, because we have Chromatic Star, Elsewhere Flask, and Energy Refractor as just random ways to bring this back. Plus a 4-mana 3/1 with a 1/1 in this format is just good enough. This card is very good. I don't know if I'll play it, but I'm not playing anything else here, so I'm not missing out on anything. Second Battlefield Butcher, Wing Commando, Stern Lesson, Subjugation. Gosh, these packs have been hard. 9 non-creatures and 11 creatures, and we already have at least a cut to make. I don't think I want 2 of these. I don't need 3 of these. I could get a Subjugation to go along with our Hercule Trigger for Mightstone's animation, or just a second Butcher. The Butcher just seems really good. It blocks well. It's a good blocker. Ichor Wellspring. Holy moly, that's so good. In this deck, I mean, this is my trap deck of the format. I mean, I end up with a deck like this, and then I draw nothing but Chromatic Star, Elsewhere Flask, Energy Refractor, Ichor Wellspring, Mishra's Bauble, and die. So I'm probably going to have to cut at least 1 or 2 of these things. That is a late explosion here. Maybe just another Third Path Savant as a creature. What is going on in this draft? I don't need another one of these. This could be another splash, but it's worse than the other kind of splashes I've found so far. Only because I'm not putting any mountains in my deck. And I'm probably not playing Genius. We'll see. Yeah, all these cards are garbage. So Clay Revenant versus Mask of the Jadecrafter is what I'm looking at here. This card is so slow. What am I doing with Clay Revenant? Discarding it to Urza? That's about it. Mask of the Jadecrafter I have synergies with. I don't know if I'll play it. Desynchronize, maybe? So we did not get another Mightstone's animation. I'm not playing 2 Curates. I'm just not. So I'm going to take another creature here. Maybe this is good in this deck. I doubt it. I mean, we're lacking a little bit in 2-drops, and by a little bit I mean we have 2 of them. Stern Lesson Wield, I mean, maybe? It's going to be an interesting deck build here to try to figure out which path we're going down. Okay, there's a lot of cuts here. I think this is too expensive. I'm thinking of that as a 2-drop. This is our best card. This is like a maybe splash kind of thing. Currently have 13 creatures, so we probably can't cut too many if we're going to play these butchers. And I don't think I want to cut too many. The only ones that are on the chopping block are over here. So what would I cut over here? Let's see. This. Scatter Ray's just not good. Weld is kind of like another creature, but also a non-creature for Hurkle. Double Fracture. So all of this stuff. I mean, we did not really end up with a whole lot of interaction. I took the Disfigure, but the two overwhelming remorses I saw, I took Puppeteer and Hurkle over, which I still stand by. Which did not get really enough interaction, I think. So what can count as interaction? Moment of Defiance can kind of be interaction because it can kind of save one of your creatures or make it trample over, not trample, but kind of save it with an extra toughness boost and help you survive. I think of these cards, the best ones for us are Ichor Wellspring. I think I'm going to play the Cohort. Ways to splash this and this include Chromatic Star, Refractor, and Elsewhere Flask. I think Emergency Weld is okay because it kind of counts as another copy of some of our best creatures in a way. Mishra's Bauble's a great way to trigger this for free and a great thing to trigger off of Hurkle. Mighstone's Animation is a for sure. So I'm stuck between probably some of these. Elsewhere Flash draws a card, so does this, 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 so does this. I mean, so did two of these over here, so does this. I mean, we have a lot of ways to draw two cards in this deck. So I don't think Curate is really something we need. This is just too cute, I think. Stern Lesson, maybe a copy, and maybe a copy of Power Stone Fracture. Now, in our defense, I did say we're... Why is this so big? There we go. Power Stone Fracture is interaction. We don't have a lot of it, so we might need to run two. Which puts me at 2-ish more cuts. I think a copy of Stern Lesson is okay, because Stern Lesson on 3, Mightstone's Animation on 4 is pretty good. I think the Cohort's fine here. I've heard advice from a lot of other content creators saying Cohort is just a good card, and maybe if you unearth it, you get a tiny bit of extra value, but it's just a great card in most decks anyway. Now, we don't have like the Artifact ETB synergies with it, so maybe it's worse, but with Double Butcher, just now if we are trying to unearth it, then the Butchers don't really combo with it. Third Path Savant is kind of derpy, but it's a creature, it can trade, and we only have 13 of them. So I'm looking at like some of these derpy artifacts here. Refractor helps us splash these two unearth costs. This one unearth cost, is that it? No, what was the other thing I was trying to splash? Can't remember. What are we sacrificing with Power Stone Fracture? I mean, any one of these things is decent to sacrifice, to be honest. And we kind of need the interaction on that. So, do we just cut like a random Carrion Locust? Now we're down to 12 creatures. I'm going to split the difference. Cut a Locust and cut... an Emergency Weld. Try it like that. It's a tough deck build for sure. Honestly, 16 lands is probably correct with the amount of times we're drawing 2 cards for so cheap as well. I don't think we need 17 necessarily. So, like, the last cut I made was Emergency Weld. And now, problem is, we're at 12 creatures, double Butcher, Hercule. I mean, they're going to be incentivized to kill a lot of these things. Yeah, I mean, I think this is okay. I'm not sure how well it's going to perform. Let's try it out. Got one of the top of the line systems here, and this is the first draft. Not the first draft I'm doing, it's not the first game I'm playing on this, but the computer has hummed quite a bit with its fan to tell me it doesn't necessarily like playing these games in Arena, which is surprising because this is better than my previous unit. So let's hope we survive this draft without the computer exploding on me, and if we do, I can still return it, we're good. Here comes the hum. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it at some point. Okay, so this is a dangerous hand. Well, that makes it a little bit better. Probably going Ichor Wellspring on 2, trying to draw into some lands, play Butcher, we can animate the Wellspring, we can trade it off, draw an extra card, draw 2, draw 3, I mean, yeah. Give me those lands. There we go. Green, black. It's a good deck. Okay. So Stern Lesson into animation is good, but I'm probably going to want to animation the Ichor Wellspring, so do I have a way to draw a card this turn? I mean, I do if I cast Stern Lesson. I could just play the Butcher. I don't really need the Butcher. I could play the third pass Savant. I don't really need the Savant. This helps me hit the land to play the animation next turn. So that's why I'm going to hold up Stern Lesson here. It gives me 3 shots at a land to play animation on the Wellspring next turn. Self-assembler. Are they going to Tron me? Tower Worker. Power Plant Worker. It's okay, I have Power Stone Fracture. I can disassemble their Tron. This seems like a good discard. Okay. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Ichor Wellspring. I could sacrifice this to use Disfigure here at some point if I wanted to, but I don't think... I'm not going to right now. Is it worth attacking? I feel like I'm usually a little bit too reserved when I attack. So I can use Disfigure to kill their Self-Assembler here. It gets rid of my Chromatic Star, but I think that's worth it. Because I also draw another card. I wonder if I'm going to deck myself. I'm already at 24 cards and it's turn 4. I've churned through 16 cards in this deck in 4 turns. It's kind of crazy. Okay, that's a big boy. I can just kill it with Fracture. I'll probably sacrifice the Flask. Oh, wait, no, I want to cast that with Power Stone. So let's do the Flask, just churn through the rest of our deck, because why not? Probably just going to target this, sacrificing the Flask. And then Probably just play Goring Warplow. Save the Refractor if we find the Puppeteer here at some point. Would I rather play that as a 6-drop, though? Probably. Works well against their power plant worker like this. I mean, we still have so many ways to draw to. I'll play the Refractor. This also, the Refractor also opens up the opportunity to unearth the cohort here. So, that's something. Oh boy, are we going to get melded on? Play a Revenant, that's fine. Argothian Opportunist, that's fine. Difficult decisions with this deck already so far. Trade off Ichor Wellspring here for the Argothian Opportunist. I can unearth this and attack. From 2 to add a white, and then 3, 4, and then I still have 2 mana left over, so I could play the Warplow in addition to that. What do they have? Disfigure or something? Okay, take 7, fine by me. They have something in hand they can cast. I think I'm just going to play the Warplow here. I said I'm going to save it last turn for a 6/4 instead, but I had so much stuff to do with my mana, like playing Urza, playing Butcher, using Fracture. I mean, that would have been a good thing to use Fracture on to sacrifice this after I had unearthed it. But I still have this to sacrifice. I have this to sacrifice. I have this to sacrifice. I have everything. Okay, there's the power plant worker. Probably gonna fracture that. I think I will sacrifice probably the 1/1. I have uses for that Power Stone still. Butcher has not looked great in this deck so far. I might see between these games if there's a better option. Holding the bauble because we have Hercule trigger, and that's mainly it. We could put it on the battlefield, but I don't see a real reason to do that necessarily. It's free anytime we want it, so. I did have to notice that Blast Zone is over there. And if they put it on 2, they could kill Wellspring, Warplow, and Refractor. Okay, that's fine. Get like a 3-for-1 out of that. Alright. I think they're probably out of gas here. Unless they top deck something insane. There's the Hercule. I'll play the Hercule. Play the Bauble. Play the Evangel. Do I need the land? I mean, not really. Push a little bit of damage here. If they trade with Warplow, that's fine. Oh. What? Okay, I'm just gonna bounce it. Sure. In the turn, see if we can find an artifact. Oh. Okay. We have plenty, so there are plenty of options to get that off of there, but... Oh. Sucks. Okay. I hate that card so much, man. Gonna play the swamp so that I can dump both of these creatures here. Hold back the Warplow to block the Golem. And then next turn we can just start drawing 2 cards over and over, although, again, we have to kind of watch out for our deck. I think I'm going to switch out these butchers for something. Artifact or creature... Okay, I guess we're doing this then. And if we hit like a... Well, okay. They're gonna get both of them anyway, so... If we hit like a non-artifact, non-creature, we could have pitched the creature and then not had anything happen here, so... But they're gonna get both of these, unfortunately. It doesn't really matter what we do. Have to watch out here. This blast zone is threatening a lot. If they put it on 3, they can kill Butcher, Savant, Hercule, and Urza. That's very bad for us. Can't attack with this because it would just trade with their Revenant, and that's it. Unfortunately, have not seen Puppeteer yet in this game. Had we seen Puppeteer, the game would probably be over at this point. Yeah, so they're going for the X equals 3 on that, which makes sense. Let's see if they crack it here. Looks like they do. Do we want to loot with Urza? I think we do. There we go. Gonna have to find a way to win here. Getting back Butcher at this point is probably pretty good with Weld because we have a lot of creatures in the yard now. Play the Puppeteer, because I'm not gonna not. I could save the Weld if they kill the Puppeteer. Or I could get back the Butcher. Probably want to get back the Butcher. Although when this dies, I could get back the Butcher, and then I can get back this. Kind of loop it. But we do have to find a way to kill them before we draw 9 cards. Because we're going to be drawing 2 next turn with the Bauble. I'm going to hold off 1 turn. Because we can't even play the Butcher if we got it back this turn. So I'm going to hold off 1 turn here. And I should have Baubled on upkeep. See what they drew this turn, for sure. But hopefully it's not overwhelming remorse. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Gonna have to win between Butcher and Puppeteer. For sure here. Alright, they're drawing a land. That's good. We are too, which is not good. So now I think we have to do this as a win con here. Play the island, and then we can... I think it's better to hold back here, because this would just trade for a 2/2, which is not great. Yeah, here comes a big fat 7/7? 8/8? That's okay, we can chump it at least once, maybe twice if we need to. 7 cards left. Gotta watch out. I need to trigger this Puppeteer as many times as we can here. Not gonna unearth it, so I can do that next turn. Draw an extra card, hopefully. It's gonna be close. Do I need to, like, up the count in our deck? I genuinely think this might be a deck that needs more than 40. Because we're likely not winning through combat. We're winning through spinning our gears and returning Puppeteers and Butchers and all that kind of stuff. Make another 2/2. Alright. Alright, we're down to 3 cards in deck here. Gonna have to be careful. I need this trigger, though. We're attacking with the Evangel doesn't do much, so I gotta hope this Butcher doesn't die. So how many lands do we have left? 1, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 1 land in our last 3 here. Okay. They have this turn and next turn to kill us or the butcher. Oof. 10? Holy cow. Probably have to chump that. What if I chumped... We have 1 more butcher in the deck, too. What if I chumped with puppeteer here? Well, they attacked in such a way that I don't think it's optimized to do that at this point. Can they sacrifice something? I don't think they can. No. Well, that's our last land. We had another butcher in there. Now we just gotta hope we don't die to their entire board. Okay, let's see if they kill the puppeteer or the butcher. If they kill the butcher, I think we win. Alright, good. Hopefully. I haven't done the math yet, but... all we have to do is trade with puppeteer, return the butcher, and then on our turn activate the butcher again. Oh no, can they attack with the acrobat and gain the life with the sacrificing the spider? Oh no. Are they gonna get us here? Let's see if they see that line. I'm not gonna mouse over their acrobat because then they could see the line if they haven't already. No! Don't do it! Don't see it. Nice! Nice. Whew, that was close. So we do this, and when this dies, we return the butcher back to the battlefield, and the next turn we activate it for 2. And I don't think we die 10, 15? Yeah, we're not dead here, so... okay. I think we got it. So they kind of messed that one up. But that's okay, we take those. Even if we had 0 cards in deck, we would still win here. Woof. Tight, tight game there. Sweet. Alright, hopefully my editing goes smoothly here, and you can see me here in the next game. Alright, and we're back here with I guess a decent enough hand. Would love to draw a blue off the top or off a Vicar Wellspring. But, well, a blue off the top. Perfect. Now we have Hercule on 3. couple of cards after that. Hopefully don't get beat down by... Is it worth saving the Wellspring as a Hurkle trigger? No, I'm just gonna draw into whatever I need to draw into here. We have 2 other instants we can use with Hurkle on our turn. Hurkle doesn't trigger on their turn, but it's okay. Hopefully they don't have Scatter Ray as well. Okay, I mean, I gotta go for it. I could play around it and play a Third Path Savant. And maybe that's worth it? Everything in my hand is a 3-drop, so next turn I'm probably just playing Third Path Savant, so I'm actually going to play around it for a turn here. Okay, so they could have had a counterspell, but I think it's Stern Lesson. Okay, it's nothing. Which tells me it might be a counterspell that they didn't want to use. Okay, they got nothing here then. Now we're good to go with Hurkle. There's their red. Alright, what do you got? Obviously not blocking into Whirling Strike here. Are they just going to give it flying again? Sure. I'll play my creature. Draw a card. Discard a card. Then I think I'm just gonna try to outrace them here and do this. Doing this on my turn at an instant speed so that Hurkle can trigger at the end of our turn. And we get the life back. We're back up to 18. They're down to 12 and we miss. It's okay. Can't hit them all. Next turn we can Stern Lesson on our main phase. Get a Hurkle trigger. Trigger the Synthesis. I don't think you're the aggressor anymore, dude. Let's start here, only because, again, I'm trying to get this trigger. Can do this, and nothing to return, so no Weld to cast. So it's either Butcher or Savant here. Probably, I mean, Butcher blocks both of these very well. Let's first get in. Okay, this attacks better, and we're probably a little bit more on the attacky side right now. Although Butcher can just kill them next turn as well. Dang, come on. Alright, found their third color. Juggernaut. Okay. Well, that's great. Ooh. This deck is so sweet. Oh, and I'm gonna do... Is there a way to kill them here? If any one of these three... So this has Menace. So they block here, they double block here. Let's say they double block this one. And then they block this one. They go to 3. Well, they chump. They double block and then block. And they go to 3. We play a land and we activate the Butcher. And then they're dead on our upkeep. Sure. Okay, they'll trade. And if they double block Evangel now at this point, then we win. Okay. I think that should do it, because now Evangel's gonna go to the yard. That makes Butcher cost one less, or one fewer. I don't know math or grammar. And we just activate this now that we can. Get him down to -1. GG's. Okay, playing against Sleepy here. And we have our two 2-drops. The best 2-drops in the deck. That's a lie. I mean, Acre Wellspring has proven to be very good when we draw Mightstone's animation. But if they go 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, this could be a... Oh no, really? Come on. Well, it makes Butcher better. Why are they milling us? I mean, that makes our Butcher, like, insanely good now. I'll go Wellspring again because we have Mightstone's animation. We don't really need the splash of Refractor yet. Ooh, that's a good one. Although we have Disfigure, so I don't care. Alright, well I could play Butcher here, but I'm worried about a removal spell, and I'd like to protect this, so I'm actually going to lead on this because it blocks well enough against everything on this board. At this point, I just need to basically, like, survive their aggression, and then we'll be okay. Now, a combat trick with the Combat Thresher is not good for me. Okay, see, that's what I was worried about. But I do have Disfigure now to kill their Combat Thresher. At this point, I think I will play the Butcher, because they got rid of one removal spell in their hand, now they have to have 2. And I'm just going to hold up Disfigure, and if they go for like an attack with the Thresher and then a combat trick, yeah, then I'll just Disfigure it in response. Let's see what they got here. Okay, resolves. I'll kill theirs. That's fine. There's the animation. Okay. Now we can also still activate the Butcher. And things are looking decent here. Okay, that's fine. Guess I'll start on Refractor here. Whole lot of do nothing. I'll play Savant and then activate the Butcher. I probably should have attacked first, and by probably mean I should have. They can double trade here, or chump. Okay, they'll double trade. And then concede. Sweet! This deck is a beaut. Alright, like this hand, I guess. We got Combat Courier on 1, Wellspring on 2, hitting land drops, going to Puppeteer. I mean, yeah. Playing against an interesting... bruh. Sound effect number 2. Last time we played against Sleepy, so we've got some interesting opponents here for sure. Well, I said hit land drops, but maybe not that many. Kind of cool off on the land drops now. Puppeteer plus Weld is great, although they do have black, so I'm worried about overwhelming remorse, but if they have it, they have it. I'm not going to not play my creature here. Okay, easy attack because we have Moment of Defiance. Not easy attack, but, I mean, I figured they wouldn't block, so... If they did, it wouldn't be the end of the world. We just couldn't play our Savant, which means we couldn't advance our board, which is a disadvantage to attacking in that scenario, but getting rid of their... Ah, so close. They almost missed. Getting rid of their creature is pretty good. Alright, I think we just have to play Puppeteer at this point. Could attack and do the whole bluff thing again, but I'm just going to play the Puppeteer and pray they don't have overwhelming remorse. Because next turn we can Fracture, sacrificing Wellspring, killing a creature, drawing an extra card, triggering this, and then we're off to the races. Right, they are a self-mill deck to the max. Like burrowing Razor Maw and everything. Okay. I hate that card. That card is so good. Mishra's Bauble. Okay, so Emergency Weld. Kind of an obvious attack here, but we don't really have anything else to do with our mana, so... Likely not choosing to exile. Oh, they do choose to exile it. Okay. Won't play the Bauble again, because we could draw Hurkle. Next turn we can go Puppeteer, sacrifice Wellspring, kill a creature, and immediately draw a second card, trigger Puppeteer. Pretty good. That's the one we're going to kill. They got a good black-green deck. That is for sure. Alright, so we'll play the Puppeteer. Target this, sacrificing Wellspring, drawing a card. Drawing a land. Play the Bauble, activate it on their upkeep. Fine trading, because if that means if Puppeteer dies, we now have a creature to get back, which is good. Let's see what they're drawing now. Oh no! Oh no! Okay. Hopefully we find another removal spell? Question mark? No! Stop! That pretty much does it, I think. Man, that we had so good. It would have been so good if we could have kept it. We could have drawn two like every single turn. But now we're gonna get drained out by theirs, and we don't have a way to exile it. So they have a busted deck. Remorse, Butcher, Spider, Puppeteer. I mean, their deck is insanely good. Yeah, we're just getting smacked by one of the best decks I've seen in this format, I think. I'm gonna keep the Stern Lesson so I can cast that on their turn. Puppeteer doesn't matter anymore because it's gone. So drawing 2, I don't really have the payoffs. We have Evangel of Synthesis, but like, what is this? They must. So what are they going to return with Puppeteer here? Opportunist, Battlefield Butcher. Oh my god, this is all so bad. I don't know if I'd rather have them have this or the Butcher on the battlefield, honestly. Like, deck is so good. No. There we go. I got there, don't worry. The fact that this is 6 doesn't matter. We're probably just blocking with it. So, like, we'll just unearth that. I mean, I guess I'm gonna trade the Warplow for the Puppeteer and give them their Butcher, because maybe we have a way to deal with that. Do we have another Power Stone Fracture? Yeah, we have one more. So maybe that's a way we can... 4, 5, 6. Okay, so they have a way to pump it. God, double Clear Cutter. Yeah, their deck is nice. I guess now is the time to do this. Unearth this. Go to combat and attack. Damage and end the turn. So I think we've kind of lost all of our win cons. I think we have another Butcher in the... Oh my... Double Spider? I'm not sure I've ever seen a green-black deck this good in the entire format, to be honest. This deck is so busted. I'm just... Look, I'm not dead officially, but I'm letting us go on to the next match. I don't think we have any win cons left. Props. Bruh. Sound effect number 2. Good job. Alright, we get to go first this time, and the hand seems fine, so we'll keep it. Sparkling Unicorn Slayer. Man, we are on a roll today with our opponents' names. Good names, opponents. I'm liking it. Keep it up. It's now been Sleepy, Bruh sound effect number 2, and Sparkling Unicorn Slayer, so... Yeah, well that sucks. And they have a Mishra's Bauble. They have 2 Mishra's Baubles? What else do you have? Oh, they could just sacrifice that, okay. Well, that's pretty good with Goblin Blast Runner. Let's hope we don't just straight up die here very soon. This is the kind of deck that's going to completely run us over. At least we have a couple creatures. This is going to be far too slow for this matchup here. They didn't sacrifice the Bauble. They can and give it menace now. Would I block? Probably so, yeah. Now, they could have a combat trick that could kill both of these, which would suck. But then they can't progress their board, and we can still emergency well back the Evangel here at some point. Okay, they don't have a combat trick. They didn't get priority, so they're just going to trade this for our Evangel here, which I think I'm okay with. Okay, that's fine, I guess. And they missed a land drop. Well, now you clearly have a combat trick that I don't want to play into. Might have still been worth it, though. I mean, if it's Whirling Strike, they get to kill our Savant, but they don't get to play another creature. But now they're going to probably play a creature that I can't attack through. Although, that one I don't really care about. Alright. See what you do here. They have something, clearly. Okay. Thanks. Thought I muted my opponents. I don't like playing with them. Oh, Puppeteer to the bottom. Sucks. Oh well. Again, hoping that, you know, like the record is displaying correctly and that the camera size is all right. If it's a little too big, I'll fix it. Don't worry, I'll check on all these things after I post this video. But that's fine, I think. Just gotta make sure. It's my first time doing the video with this setup, so I'm hoping it's gonna be going all right here. Okay, so if they attack with this, but not this, that tells me it's Whirling Strike in hand. Clearly won't block. I guess I can Mishra's Bauble now because we know Puppeteer is on the bottom of our library. And the only other thing that cares about it is one more copy of Evangel, which like isn't the most important thing in the world necessarily. Can I activate this still? Yeah, so that's fine. Okay, that's a pretty good combo with the Clay Revenant. I think I'll just activate this, get my extra card. I got a Juggernaut coming. Alright, I'm gonna try to risk this here and hit the land so we can play Butcher as well, which is what I wanted to do, which is good. And then we can play Butcher. What creature do we have in here? Evangel? Okay. Another one. An Elsewhere Flask or Chromatic Star. Probably the Star. They don't have the mana currently to cast the Juggernaut. So they only have 2 cards in hand. Again, okay, that's fine. I'm willing to trade a Combat Courier for a Whirling Strike. That's fine with me. I'll get the Whirling Strike out of their hand. Makes our Butcher activation cheaper too, so that's fine. I know it gets trampled, but like, whatever. They can make a 3/3 here. I'll start here. This currently costs 3, so we can cast this, but casting this as a 5/4 Death Touch is going to be quite good on this board. We can't quite afford to do that this turn. And I don't want to weld back. I could weld back the Synthesis, but like, that doesn't seem great either. Although the Juggernaut, this has Trample as well, so if they draw a land, they're probably just playing that. And if we play a 5/4 Death Touch, it's not great for us. We still have 2 mana left over, so I could cast one of these. But if I cast this, then I can't activate that, and if I cast this for just its Death Touch, I think I'm gonna do that actually. Just be a little mana efficient here. Alright, so we're putting a couple removal spells on the bottom, which I don't like. But I'm gonna be a little mana efficient. Still be able to activate that. Probably block their Juggernaut with this at some point. Take 4. Animate the altar. Okay, well, they got rid of their Clay Revenant combo, so I'm probably just going to block the altar with the Warplow at this point. What else could they have? Oh, cute. I see. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I guess I'll keep it untapped and try to ping them for their last 2 damage at any point when we have that. So our Puppeteer was put near the bottom, but then we had a few more Hurkle triggers. So we can get closer to it with welding back the Evangel here. Get Mishra's Bauble? I probably want the Evangel. Let's play the Evangel. Dump a land. No need to do this right now, because we can get more triggers off of this Evangel. No attacks in turn. Gotta check on our library. Power Stone, Fracture. Okay, these are good cards here, but we'll take the Fracture. It's good. Now we can Fracture the Star, getting rid of something. Probably Juggernaut. I gotta keep track of where this Puppeteer is. There's a good one. Alright, so let's get rid of that. Sacrificing this. I'll do this one. And I could trade the Evangel for their Air Marshal. Basically. Because they would block with Altar and Marshal. Is that worth it? Potentially. It's not getting much better than that. Or it'll trade for their 3/3. Either one of those is okay, I suppose. There goes the Puppeteer again. Alright, so how does this go back? In a random order. Okay, so we now have... How many cards in the library? 17. So we have 12 cards until potentially a Puppeteer. And unfortunately, at the time that we draw that, we're only going to have 2 or 3 cards left in the library. We don't want to draw that much more. So we do still have a 1 shot in the pocket for a 2 damage to the face here. I'm gonna unearth here. Go to combat, see if they want to block. Sure they will. But maybe we get a point in. We do not. Makes the Butcher more expensive. Could trigger the Flask to get Puppeteer closer to us. Or trigger Hercule with the Flask to get Puppeteer closer so that we don't draw it so late. Again, now we have 10 cards and then potentially a Puppeteer. We are on a little bit of a clock with this Air Marshal. Okay. Got nothing, but now we have 5 on the bottom, and then 3 on top, and then somewhere between 4 and 9 is Puppeteer. Although at this point, like, I don't know how much extra draw 2 we have. Third Pass Savant is a way to draw 2, because we can still activate that. We will have to kill them before this Air Marshal kills us, though. So that kind of sucks. Power Stone Fracture would have been great, because this Altar is just blocking our way. Unfortunately, now that might mean we put Puppeteer on the bottom again, which I don't want to do. But we had to cast the animation, didn't we? I mean... They're at 7. They're effectively at 3. Kind of. What's our best way to win? Casting this cohort or just activating this Butcher? Activating the Butcher again. We're not in an enormous clock, but this thing does have trample, so that's important to know. I'm just going to activate the Butcher here. Alright, here goes Puppeteer back to the bottom. We've now cycled Puppeteer to the bottom 3 times this game. But that's okay. That means we cycled through our deck 3 times. Which is perfect. That's where you want to be, right? Okay, so if they unearth the Juggernaut, I'm going to probably chump with this Butcher and then activate it. Okay, that's a Haster. That's fine. It doesn't have Trample. Oh, that I don't care about. I could just trade off Warplow for that pretty easily. And if you're not going to do anything, oh yeah, that's great. So I can activate both of these? Yeah, I don't really see a way to lose this at this point. So we can just, like, pass, basically. And then activate both Butchers. What we can do, actually, is Moment of Defiance here. We can only activate one Butcher, but then next turn we kill them with both Butchers. We gain a bunch of life, we protect ourselves, we draw an extra card. So we'll gain a bunch of life by doing it this way. It means we can only activate one Butcher this turn. But again, we'll kill them next turn. That's a pretty good draw as well. So this is going to cost us 4. So yeah, we just have to end the turn here. There it goes again. Cycle number 4. Okay, that's probably fine. Don't really need to use the Disfigure. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think we had it at that point. Okay, well, I forgot after the first game to put the Butchers out of the deck, but I'm glad I didn't. They've been great. So, yep. All right, we're on the draw here, but we're fine. We got this. Got an Ichor Wellspring on 2, even if we don't draw a Swamp, and then Third Path Savant on 3 now, so I think we'll be okay. Ashnod's Harvester. Yeah, that's a good one. A very good one. Saving the Bauble for the turn that I play the Puppeteer, so I can Bauble, get an immediate trigger. Alright, we're just gonna die to red-green now. Welcome to the Brothers' War, folks. Sometimes you die to red-green. Probably should have played the Bauble that turn so I can try to hit a land drop next turn with an extra trigger. Because unfortunately, every single card we've drawn except for the Savant has been black, which means we can't cast more than one a turn even when we find a swamp. No blocks. They don't have a combat trick. And they don't want to trade their Harvester. God, we're just getting smacked by green-red. Missing land drops. Yeah, so that'll probably do it. Unfortunately, sometimes you miss land drops and you die. I think it was a pretty easy keep, though. We just drawn nothing but black cards and no swamps. Should have done that on their upkeep again. I always forget. I'm not used to playing with Bauble. I'm not one of those, extended players. Now they have a combat trick. Why did you have a draw a combat trick this turn? Yeah, so they're just gonna try to kill us. Do they have 2? How many do they have? Take 9 down to 2. It's turn 4. Why? Oh, thank you. How nice. He says sarcastically. Alright, well, magic gonna magic sometimes. Alright, well, let's hope magic don't magic against us this turn, or this game. At least have a combat courier, and I'm not gonna let last game happen to us again. Alright, so they've got a disfigure. Okay, now it'll happen to us in a different way. Where we just draw all of the lands, but that's okay. I would have rather draw more lands than not enough and then lose like last game. I want to play Magic and not just sit here and stare at my opponent punching me in the face over and over again. Alright, the mirror match, they say. I'll play the Hurkle, and now next turn we can go Refractor and Fracture, and then potentially draw 2 cards off of Hurkle? That would be nice. Let's see. Or Hurkle will just die, one of the 2. Obviously can't block, we know they have Disfigure. Double Evangelist, that's a good one, that's good. Start with Refractor. Is it worth fracturing one of these Evangels here? Could also just draw a card with this. Like, block, sack, draw a card. The Fracture seems like it's going to be quite good. Yeah, I'm just going to save the Fracture in case they have like a Puppeteer or something. Holy, best cards in our deck. Okay. Block, sack, draw. Put all of the non-lands on the bottom so that we can then draw more of the lands. Ha, you missed. Gonna play a creature here. Now I can play Fracture. Right now they have good attacks with everything. I don't really like doing this. I'm probably going to regret it. I don't think... I mean, again, I'm not blocking, so I guess I'm attacking. Wellspring and Moment. Come on, Hercule, do your work. Do your job. That's a card we did not find access to. Stupid disfigure, man. That is causing problems in combat. No, 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 we're doing this one. Return a gnawing vermin even if this thing dies. Which is good. I'm not going to attack because... God. Putting all of our best cards on the bottom, aren't we? We put 9 non-lands on the bottom. At least with Hercule. Oh no. Oh, this is busted. This is busted. Fine if they let this happen here, because they're just going to trade Evangel for Third Path Savant. I could also just Disfigure and get rid of that, and then their Disfigure doesn't do anything. Well, their Disfigure would still kill the Savant here. But we're at 5, so we're basically just dead already. Yeah, we put 9 non-lands on the bottom, and then we drew like 2 or 3 more lands off of it. So... There's another one. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Yeah, they just had a busted curve out here. Trench Stalker. They've got a good version of the deck, for sure. And you know how it is. Alright, bud. Draws 2 more lands. Almost. 1 more. Okay. Well, 4-3, I am averse to drawing to trophying in this format. I don't think it'll ever happen. But the deck was sweet. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it too. I'm kind of over-optimizing wins in this format. But I had a good time here. We had some sweet games. Got curb stomped. Magicked on us, and we got mana screwed. Drew all the lands in the last game. Welcome to Daily Draft. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time for your Daily Draft.